Saturday, 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 Saturday. I think it's Saturday for you. I don't know how time works, but I'm assuming that whole intro is because it's Saturday wherever you are. Hopefully our friends who are watching from Australia, hello New South Wales, hello friends from New Zealand. My name is Andrew Hockrattle. Welcome to the Daily Creative Challenges on this beautiful Saturday or this beautiful Friday, depending on where you are in the world. I'm out in California, and I know that we have some friends in chat. Lynn is watching from Bathurst in New South Wales. If you are watching from somewhere in the world, which hopefully you are, please let us know. If you're an alien, definitely let us know. We'd love to see what universe you are watching from. And welcome to Earth. So thanks for joining us. This is the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. Every day we are live to give you some updates and some tips and tricks on how you can improve and maybe explore your creative prowess in Adobe Illustrator. My name is Andrew Hockrattle. You can follow along right here at Hock.co on Behance, Instagram, or Twitter. That is the tag to get connected. I know that I've seen some people from Australia posting and tagging me with their posts, so thank you so much for that. It's always great to see what you're making, and it kind of allows me to help promote through the different channels these amazing challenges that we are doing these few weeks. So let's talk about some ways that you can get involved. The first one is what I just said. Follow on Behance, follow on Instagram, wherever you are. And the second is that you can join our community. Now, every single day, we are going live. Hello, World Vietnam. Nice. That's so cool. So you can join our daily creative challenges every single day by going to right here, behance.net/challenge/illustrator. That is the link for you. You can click on this button right here. It will actually say something different for you, and you'll get a notification in your Creative Cloud every day that you have a new challenge that you are ready to go on. So we've done a few challenges already. We've done 1, 2, 3 challenges already, and now we are moving on to our 4th challenge, which is to create some textured typography. I'm very excited about this one. Texture and type are two of my favorite things, and we're going to show you how to use vector and leverage the power of Illustrator to create non-destructive workflow texture. What that means is that you'll still be able to edit it after the fact, after you've done your texturing. A lot of times when you're working in Photoshop and even in Illustrator, people will edit things and add texture, and it will actually make it so that you can't change it. Today I'll show you how to keep it all editable and non-destructive. So another way that you can join us is to go to the chat with the community, this button right here, or you can go to bit.ly/AI Discord. That is our Illustrator Discord. It's the server where we are chatting, where you will give your daily creative challenges. So let's hop over and see what's happening in Discord. Look at this. Oh, there's a playlist. If you want to listen to some jazz, that's the jazz playlist. We'll turn that off. Here in Discord, there are some really fun things happening. A lot of people are putting in their projects. From yesterday, we made a badge. Great job. Jesse Anderson, yes, so keen for this one. I agree. And anytime the Aussies pop into chat, it makes me want a meat pie so bad. It's not a thing in the States. And man, it is like, that's all that I wanted to eat. Meat pies are the best. If you're watching from anywhere else in the world, just know meat pies are probably the best thing that's ever been invented by a human. So people working a lot with badges, showing off some of the texture that they are using, which is what we'll be doing today. So I'm very excited for this challenge. It's going to be a fun time, but make sure that you go to the link bit.ly/AI Discord. And from there, you will be able to hop into this Discord where we have a team of incredible mentors of Colby, Jack, Kathleen. I'm in there giving you feedback and maybe having suggestions on your daily creative challenges. All right. So now it's time for us to hop into the lesson. Let's see, I don't think I have anything else to announce, but we do have a lot to get into. So if you have not joined me for a daily creative challenge before, we do a little bit of entertainment and a little bit of education. So we're going to have some fun while we learn today. And today we'll be learning about subtractive and additive textures through the lens of fitness. We'll be using the example of sweat today to talk about texture. So before we hop in there, we're going to have to go and do a little costume change. You know how it goes. For your object lesson, we're going to head over to Hawk's Gym, and I'll see you in just a minute. All right, we are back. Oh my goodness, that's what we want for now. Right now, all right, cool. So, what we want is we are going to be looking at the idea of texture and additive and subtractive texture through sweat. So I went for a little run, got a little sweaty, and this is going to get weird. But I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see a little bit. So let's zoom in and look at. There it is. So see the sweat that is glistening on my skin? I know it's weird, just stick with me here. So this is what I'm talking about when I talk about additive texture, right? So my skin would be the base, and on top of that, we see the sweat, right? It's really just water, so don't get weird about it. It's really just water. So it is sitting on top of my skin, creating that texture, right? It's affecting what's underneath it. So that is something that's additive texture, right? It's on top of. Now, if I take my shirt and wipe it away, now there is subtractive texture, right? There are little moments where you can see, like right above right here, there is still some, but then in the center, there is not. So that's subtractive texture. We have subtracted texture so that then you can see more of what is underneath. Now, what's really cool is, this is my object lesson, is with that, we've actually created more additive texture down here, right? So this was just a gray shirt, right? It was just gray. And now we have added texture on top of it. And that is affecting what the shirt was, right? I absorbed some of the water. And so that is like I'm multiplying an object on a color, right? That is additive texture being added to a base of what something is. So remember that as we go through. Let me adjust my wig. There we go. Remember that as we go through additive and subtractive texture. Additive is putting on top and subtractive is taking away. All right, so let's hop over into Illustrator to really dig in to this texture journey. All right, so we are here, we are in Illustrator, and we have our source file. If you have not gotten your source file yet, make sure you go to behance.net/challenge/illustrator, and that is where you can get involved with the source file. There we go. There's a weird little thing attached. All right, cool. So today let's get branded, create a stencil or stamp using vector textures and the Lasso tool. Lasso tool is really fun. And fitness, more like fitness texture in this type. Am I right? I'm sorry. So we're going to just jump in and start working. And I'm going to show you quick examples of those three that we talked about, right? So we're going to be looking at three different kinds of texture. The first will be additive texture. It's the easiest. So that's the one that we are going to start with. Additive. Let's put a question mark because I don't know if that's how you spell it. So the first is additive texture. And let's say that we just have the word fitness. So we blow up the word fitness. I'm just going to drop this into Trade Gothic right here, and we'll make this red. There we go. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, come on over to Behance. That's where the chat actually is. It's over on Behance. That's where we're talking. I see a couple of you, quite a bit of you talking over on YouTube. Come over to Behance, behance.net/live. So we're going to do some additive texture to this fitness. And what I want to do is I'm going to grab this and just click holding Alt or Option to make a copy. I'm going to make it green. Actually, let's make it blue just so you guys can see. And we'll bring it to front. So we'll right click, we'll go to Arrange and bring to front. And once we bring that to the front, we are going to click here and we are going to go to Multiply. So our opacity mode is changing to Multiply. And now you can see that it is additive to where it is sitting on top, right? Just like we have the sweat drops that were affecting the skin, we have this new texture that is affecting what's underneath it. Now, there's too much of it, much too much. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Lasso tool. Not a lot of people know that this exists in Illustrator, but it's a very, very powerful tool. It's right up here, right underneath the magic wand, or you can just hit Q. And what you can do is just click and drag, and you're making a selection. So we're selecting that area right there. And when we let go, oops, we got the type in there. We don't want that. When we let go, you can see that it is selected only the anchor points that we had overlapped in that shape. So if we hit delete, it's going to delete those anchor points, but it's leaving some extra anchor points kind of hanging out here. So if we hit a delete again, it will get rid of all of those anchor points for us. So that's what we want. And now there's so much extra texture. I could use a clipping mask, but this is better to just get rid of it so you don't have extra points, is I can just very easily grab all of that extra texture. I grab the type again and just hit delete, and it gets rid of any extra texture that I don't want. So that way we can kind of crop it in to just the area that we need it. And there we go. This is an example of additive texture. So the texture is sitting on top and is being added to what it is. So the next one is subtractive. And this, we're going to say that subtractive, the first lesson that we do with subtractive, I'm going to show you how to do it using an opacity mask. Actually, no, let's do Pathfinder. Yes, Laura, thanks for joining us. So this is subtractive using the Pathfinder. I'm just going to grab our type over here, our fitness word. And we are going to, again, grab some of this texture. These textures are in that source file for you, so go ahead and use them as much as you want or as little as you want. Do whatever you want. I'm not your mom. All right, so we are going to put this over so we have the texture. Again, we have way too much texture, and this time I'm going to isolate this by just double-clicking in here. And then again, using the lasso tool to lasso around all that extra texture that I don't need. All right, and let's just delete that out. There we go. So now we have just the texture that I want on top of this type, right? So let's move that to the front. So now it's on top. So what we want is, we want it to punch out from the type. So let's say we could do this to where we do white and it looks like this, right? It looks like a cool texture. But now the problem is, if we put something in the background, let's say we want blue in the background, now it's a problem. We want to make it so that the type is actually punched out. So the way to do this is not that tricky, but we can go to Object and expand on the type. Now this is a destructive workflow. This is going to ruin your type. There's no going back once you hit this button to expand. So we hit expand and hit OK. And it has expanded, right? And now we need to do something to both of these shapes. The top one with all this texture, we're going to select it and right click to do, we're going to go to Object, Compound Path, and Make. And what that's going to do is it's going to take all those little bits and pieces and tell Illustrator to treat it as if it is one shape. So we'll do the same thing for the type underneath. The hotkey for that is just Command 8 or Control 8. And now that those are both compound paths, we will select the texture on top and the type path on the bottom and come over here to our Pathfinder tool. We are going to hit subtract, and what that will do is it's going to act like a hole punch. Think of it as a hole punch punching through. So it's punching the top shape through the bottom shape, and so we punch through, and now it has punched through, and we can see that right here especially, it is completely see-through. We have punched that texture through the type. Now, this is super destructive, and it's even more destructive because I can't change where anything is. There's a little secret that's going to blow your mind, and if this blows your mind, you need to put a little blow mind emoji in chat. That's the rule. That's how it works. So you're going to select these two, and instead of just hitting the subtract, you're going to hold Alt or Option and then click on subtract. And what it's going to do is it will still, right, exact same thing to where it's see-through, but it's kept the shape that's inside, so I can double click and actually move this texture around within this. So it is subtracting it, but it keeps the shape live so that you can continually edit and move the shape around however you want. And you can see that, and yes, it is very popular for grungy effects, absolutely. So you can see that this is all one path, all of the shapes are still there, but you can go in and you can edit them and move them around, right? So that's holding Alt or Option when you do that subtract. That's my favorite little hack, because otherwise it just takes it away and then you can't edit anything. So we're gonna put that over there. And now for probably my favorite, yes, Valder, mind blown, I agree. I literally have been working in Illustrator for probably 15 years, and I just learned that probably 3 months ago. I had no idea that that was a thing, and it absolutely blew my mind. So it creates yes, Lynn, everybody's head's exploding. It's awesome. So the next one that we're going to show is using an opacity mask. And subtractive using an opacity mask is another great way. And this is how you work non-destructively to keep your type intact. So instead of keeping the texture intact, we're going to keep the type intact this time. Let's grab this other texture just because it's fun. And again, we're going to do the same thing where we put it over here. And thank you, Anna. My hair is, it's very hot and itchy, actually. So what we're going to do is we need to think of this as, did you ever use like a transparency when you were a kid, right? They had the light at the bottom that shined up and you put it over and anything that was black would get blocked. And so the light wouldn't come through. That's basically what we're going to do here. So we're going to create a box, and this is I'm going to do it in reverse so that you can understand a little bit. So we're going to create a box, and then we're going to take our texture and make our texture white. Let's click on that one more time. There we go. So there's still a little bit too much texture. So I'm going to come in here with the lasso tool and just get rid of all of that extra that's in there. And check this out. So this is, imagine an overhead projector, right? We have a light below here that is shining through. Only the parts that are white would have light that would shine through. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So we have our texture and we have the black box in the back. You need both of those for this technique. And we need to go ahead and Command G to group them. So I don't know how I forgot, but it's not your real hair. It's not. My real hair is much shorter, which may be a different color next week. We'll see what happens. See how the weekend goes. So I've created this overhead, and this kind of, all the white is going to show through, all the black is going to go away, and we have grouped it. So we are going to put this over our type. I need to be a little bit bigger. And it's going to be exactly like we said. Anything that is white is going to show through. Anything that is black is going to get blocked from whatever that bottom shape is. So you can see our type is underneath. The texture and the black bar are on top as a group. We're going to select all three of those and then go up here to our transparency panel. And here we're going to hit Make Mask. So when we hit Make Mask, you'll see only the white parts are showing through. Right? So in theory, you would do it the opposite way, but you could do it with the black and white and then just hit invert mask, which is right here. So invert mask is going to make it so now we still have, right? Let's put that little blue bar that we had on the other one behind. We still have the same see-through. We still have the same texture. And the greatest thing is that because it is an opacity mask, it is actually editable completely top to bottom. So here, instead of saying fitness, we could say gym. And then let's say the texture is too much for us. We can click on this little box here. So we can either edit the top layer, which is the type, or the inside mask, which is the texture. And we can come in here and just say, oh man, maybe we want the texture to be a little bit smaller. So I can shrink it down. Maybe we say, you know, oh, we want to move it over this way. So we can do that. So it all stays live and editable. And again, I can come in here and maybe I just want to say, oh, we did want it to be Hawk. And so come back in there and do it. So everything is still editable. And yes, it's like a clipping mask, like 100% it's like a clipping mask, except it's not, it doesn't like break anything. It stays completely editable across the board. And yes, Jesse, it's total insanity, right? The great thing too about opacity masks is you can use like images. Like you can 100% use images and it will pull the values for the black and the white through those images. So we've got about 5 minutes left here. I'm going to show you, and this is what I want to see for your daily creative challenge is I'm going to do a badge here with one of these, but I'd love to see all three of these. When you post and you use, it's really cool and yes, so quick, and you can change it forever. So when you go here, bit.ly/AI Discord, I want to see you post all three of these. Show me you using a subtractive opacity mask, show an additive texture, and then show a subtractive texture using the Pathfinder. So show me all three of those because there are a bunch of different ways to do it. And in design, there's no wrong way. As long as you get there, you get there. I think the most versatile way would be to do the subtractive opacity masks, just because everything is continually editable. But actually, I'll show you this. So with this opacity mask, even if I wanted to, let's say that I want this texture to come in, I can click on this, select the inside shape, and let's see, let's double click in here. Ah, there we go. I can paste in, yep, totally worked. I can paste in some more texture if I want more texture to be in there. So you just paste it in, make sure that it is white. There we go. And now we can add more texture. You can do really whatever you want with that texture that's inside. As long as it's white, it will keep telling it to show that piece. You can layer it, add in more, do whatever you want. So this is really the most versatile way to do that. So we're gonna grab our badge that we made the other day. I'm just gonna pull it on up here. And this is what I want you to do. If you did our challenge and joined us the other day, you can use your badge. If you didn't, just use some type. Play around with some type and use some regular type to go in and texture it up. Now what I want you to do is just put the texture over, and we're gonna practice each of the steps and recap what we did. So today we can double click and isolate this, and I'm just gonna start deleting some of this extra texture that I don't think we need. So we're gonna delete this out and make sure you hit delete twice to get all those points, and all this stuff down here can double delete right out. There we go. So now we can have additive texture that is just texture added, so it looks like this is kind of a little bit wonky. This is not quite what I want. So what I want to do is I'm just going to select to the top. I'm going to select both of these. Is this going to work? No. Because the reason it's not going to work is because I didn't have the box over it. So remember, you need the box, you need the texture to be on top. The box needs to be white, and then you can have that texture. So it needs to be grouped together with the texture and the box. So remember that. It needs to be one shape as if it's a flattened transparency. Then we can select everything and make that opacity mask. Now, oops, I didn't select the bottom type. There we go. And make that opacity mask. There we go. So now we have a nice little stamp for our badge. And where did I find this texture? This is a picture of my carpet, and this is a picture of my wall. And then I've just boosted the contrast and auto traced them using the image trace. So super easy to make your own textures. You also can use Adobe Capture. But yeah, this is literally my carpet and my wall that I took on my phone and put in Illustrator and then ran it through the settings for live tracing. Maybe we'll cover live tracing next week and go over that. But super easy. You can have those, I don't know, use them in whatever. But the great thing is, right, we have this opacity mask. I can even come in here and mess with this stuff, mess with all of these little pieces that I've created on my badge. And it's going to keep it completely textured. It's going to keep everything exactly the way that we need it. We can come over here and be like, go, go, go. There we go. So you can completely edit, revise everything, and you can do that all keeping it live type, keeping it fully editable, and keeping it exactly how you need it for your project. And yes, who said design isn't glamorous? Absolutely. Yes, super quick, super easy. And again, if I want to throw this on, let's say, you know, it's going to be on a mat, and the mat is going to be red. Oops. Okay, let's just actually grab a red color. So it's going to be, you know, printed on a mat, and the mat is red. Now I have something that's red. If I want to, I can go to Object Expand, and we're just going to make this whole thing white, and the texture still stays the same. So now if I want to, let's get real crazy. I want to do kind of this offset thing. I can do blue here, and then change this to multiply. And now we got this cool stamp, right? We got this cool like stamp offset, has all the texture. It feels really grimy. And the greatest thing is you look and you're like, oh man, these textures are the same. So it's very obvious that he just like copied it. Oh, you just wait. I can come over here. I can grab my texture and say, oh man, I definitely want it to look different. So I'm going to go ahead and just move this texture around a little bit. I'm going to scale it up so that the scale is a little bit different. And I did that by going up here to transparency and just editing my opacity mask. And now when I come back, now they are unique. You can't tell that they are the same texture. They're completely new textures, completely different things, and look like they are absolutely unique in every way. There we go. So that's a cool little badge to kind of do that. Yes, super easy, super amazing. Opacity masks are the way to go. So again, I want you to do that and make a stencil or stamp, use those vector textures, and I want you to show me subtractive, additive, and subtractive with the pathfinder. So opacity masks, additive, just multiplying on top, and Subtractive with the Pathfinder tools. Then I want you to go to bit.ly/AI Discord, and that is where you're going to post your project. And then when you post your project, I will be in here giving some feedback. Oh my goodness, look it, there's me. We'll be doing some feedback for you guys to have great feedback from our mentors to revise, and you can see some great job with Subtractive texturing right here on this image. So go and experiment with that, make some awesome stuff, and I can't wait to see what you make. I will see you all next week. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Spend some time with your friends and your family. If you're apart from them, call your mom, tell her you love her, and I will see you all next week. Bye.